What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Christopher Bean with Tactical Advantage, and today we've got another episode of Guntionary, and we're going to talk about the fundamental follow-through.
Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video.
Welcome back, everybody. So a couple weeks ago, I put a post on Facebook asking for terms that people have struggled with or had a hard time really grasping or understanding. And one that came up from our CEO, none other than our CEO, Stephanie Widener, was follow through, which is basically a fundamental that's been around since marksmanship was a thing, that's still being used today by some people in relation to shooting. And yet no one can really explain it or express why it matters to shooting. So that was a great one to kind of dive into. This one will probably be pretty short. And I'll open up with this. I do not believe follow through is really representative how it's defined as a shooting fundamental. There, I said it, everyone can get all twisted up about it, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense with, or being in, grouped in with what it really means or where it came from. So, first things first, the term was initiated in the 19th century related to marksmanship with guns and or other projectile type devices that don't really apply to today. So mainly it was applied to flintlock matchlock firearms or archery. And why does that matter? So follow through basically is not moving the tool after ignition or after release to not influence the trajectory of the projectile once that's happened. So why did that make sense with like flintlock and matchlock? First things first, a flintlock, a lock time is almost half a second, sometimes more. A matchlock, there's just too much variation because you have open flame, actually lighting a pan, and then all of these things chemically have to happen before the projectile is released or set in motion. So let's think through that. Again, the flintlock, a lock time of almost half a second, maybe more. Now, a modern 9mm, the lock time is 0.03. And lock time really kind of talks about how long does it take a projectile to leave the firearm, for lack of a better way to put it, for conversation's sake. So 0.03 for a modern 9mm. So again, if we talk about influence or maintaining stability or perfect stability after ignition, in 0.03, the amount of movement a human can put into the gun purposefully is almost nil, like literally almost nil. When you look at these much more significant lock time rates, it mattered, right? So if you pull the trigger and it takes a second, half a second, the chance of you moving and influencing that trajectory is quite high. With modern firearms, not so much. So lock time, the time it takes for a projectile to leave the barrel post-ignition. So that's how we have to kind of frame this or think about it. So the impact to accuracy in a modern firearm is statistically insignificant. We already kind of went through the math of that and explained it doesn't really have anything to do with it. Next, your accuracy issues. Here, let me slow down and say that. Your accuracy issues are happening pre-ignition. Normally, that's being driven by movement of the gun with the trigger press, things like that. Once ignition happens, if you're missing, it's something you did ahead of time. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's true. So with all of this, what I will say is follow through is an antiquated term. It doesn't make sense to use with modern firearms, even with rifles. Because these lock times are almost identical, maybe even a little faster. People are like, well, I have a longer barrel. Well, if we're talking about the 5.56 or 2.23, in a 9mm pistol, we have a lock time of 0.03 at 1,100 feet per second. In a rifle, you're 2,900 feet per second to cover basically 3 times the distance. So again, statistically insignificant. So a bunch of places that used to kind of preach follow through have kind of fallen off. Even like the NRA doesn't have that really as a fundamental anymore, but some people still teach it. But they can't really explain it, or they explain it where it's more leaning towards consistency of a shot to prepare for the next shot. Okay, I can pick that up, but that's not really what the term means. If you're talking about prepping for follow-up shots, you're really getting more into like shot calling or just being prepared, prepped, things like that. I think there's better ways to explain that. But this is a quick one, guys. Follow through, not really a thing. You don't have to like it, but it's true. So with that, I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.